Donald, a classic ride to get Emelita home to win the 3W Red Roses for Chris Waller. And there you go, there's Russell Howcroft from 3AW there as part of the celebrations with the breakfast show with the great Ross Stevenson. So good to see Russ there in all his glory as we build towards the Crown Oaks Day. Here we go, the feature event, the Group 1 Crown, as I said, for the 166th time. Francesca Kamani joins me. Francesca, here we go.
Here we go, indeed. It's going to be a great race, actually. And you look at all the key lead-up races, and some are more applicable than others. The Wakeful itself, in particular, 38 have done the double, going on from the Wakeful on Saturday into the Oaks. This was Treasure the Moment. Well, look at the way she's won here. You've got the jockey turning around, just showing her the whip, but he didn't need to get really that serious with her. She put the race to bed really nicely. Good gap from the second to the third as well, and reopposing plenty of those horses today.
And Powers of Opal was running on well there in second place, and we saw Gay's horse in third, which is a little bit back behind there. But you like this one, don't you? You like Treasure at the moment?
I do. The thing is, we could get quite a differently run race. So those that finish second and third there, they have to think, what can we do differently to get a different result, right? So John Sargent, who's got two in the race, has got Powers of Opal and Inevitable Truth. He said that he's going to send the more down one, Inevitable Truth, forward, because that's the only way that she can really get involved. She hasn't got that much speed. So she goes forward. Kilcare Beach Girl is likely to go forward as well. So we could get more tempo, and especially with these fillies stepping up over extra distance to 2,500 metres, it could sort them out in terms of stamina.
Well, Treasure at the moment has won the last three starts, as well as winning the Wakeful. But here's one for you as well. You know, 4 generations back, the mare was Market Slide as the dam of the 2002 Melbourne Cup winner, Media Puzzle.
I've got that one, actually. Yeah, Media Puzzle back in the family. You've got to go back a little bit, but you can find it. You've done your research.
Oh, of course. Well done. Just turn up in there.
Well.
No, so a bit of Media Puzzle there, so 2,500 metres, fantastic. Let's have a look. The other ones, the other form line that we're looking at is horses coming through the Ethereal, and also Too Darn Discreet. Didn't go through the Wakeful, won the Ethereal. The last horse to do that and win the Oaks was Pinot for Gay Waterhouse back in 2017.
Yeah, 2 out of the last 19 years have done it. Pinot in 2017, Set Square in 2014. Look, this filly is the one that I had my eye on heading into the Oaks before we had the Wakeful. She's done nothing wrong. She avoided the Wakeful, so she's coming here slightly fresher. Small concern is the ground. I mean, look at the conditions there. She's running on soft track, so she's got to adapt herself to a firmer track today. And I've read a quote from the trainer saying she's quite tricky, which I like, because often the good fillies have got a bit about them.
You better say. I'll just leave that alone. Okay. Now, Barrier 3 as well helps.
Barrier 3 helps, yes, because we've got corner, it's like the Derby on Saturday, 2,500 metres, straight into the bend, and it's a sharp bend. So for those drawn wide, Treasure at the moment, not ideal in Barrier 12. You've got Placid Pearl out wide as well, Feminile as well. But if they inject a bit of pace into this, it slightly negates the barriers.
Harlan Queen is the other one. First filly home in the Spring Champion Stakes. Did finish with a second best 200 to finish, though.
A few points about that one. I thought the Champion Stakes was quite slowly run, so it wasn't really a test of stamina. El Castello, who won it, didn't frank the form in the Derby, and she doesn't have a huge amount of staying ability when you go back through her pedigree. And
the one that we want to keep an eye out for, because this could be the story of the race, is Hurry Curry, who broke Jamie Carr's nose and was withdrawn, so didn't run in the Wakeful. Danny O'Brien had Hurry Curry run on the Sunday, said excellent gallop last Sunday. Won the Oaks Preview 2 starts back over 1,800 metres, was 5th in the Ethereal, and has Joe Moreira, who is fighting for his reputation a bit in this race, isn't he? So it's going to be an interesting one. It's a great story, I reckon. 2 troublemakers together. Yeah, poor Joe Moreira after the Caulfield Cup and the Melbourne Cup. Lots of punters on Buckaroo. Not all that happy with the rides, but yes, he's put up his hand for Hurry Curry. She's going to need to behave. I know she had the Barrier Blancas on before, so she might be tricky. Okay, who do you like? I like the number 1 Treasure at the moment. Great stuff. All right, Francesca, we're going to head down now to the mounting yard for official proceedings. This will be the 166th running of the Crown VRC Oaks. Good luck to all involved.
If you are able, please stand as we welcome ARIA Award winner Samantha Jade to perform the Australian National Anthem ahead of the running of the 2024 Crown Oaks.
all beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strings and let us sing. Advance Australia
Wonderful rendition of the Australian National Anthem. All is in readiness now for the Crown VRC Oaks. We'll take a break on Nine's Wide World of Sports. When we come back, it's the Group 1 Classic over 2,500 metres. The Crown VRC Oaks next.
What a week it has been so far, and the next of the big Group 1s is coming up just about now. The horses will be coming into the mounting yard very shortly. This is really important for the fillies, stepping up over a bit of extra distance today. Now, Michelle, the betting often gets it right in this race. Like Lasketti Spirit was probably the only big price winner in recent years, and often the Wakeful and the normal lead-up races are a good guide. Do you see it that way, or do you think as they're stepping up over further, things could get a little bit more interesting?
I think it's great in the fact that it does throw up anything, and what I think is interesting this year is the favourite has to overcome barrier 12, so that's just going to be a bit tricky, and it throws a whole different thing into the realm of everything. And I'm sort of going down to the horses drawn in the better barriers. I think the track's racing really well, which is interesting, so that will help the favourite, but I think it's a really even rendition of the Oaks this year, and I actually think it's anyone's race.
And from a jockey's perspective, what's the most important thing? To jump well, to settle well, how do they make sure they get the distance?
I think the most important thing is it's a very short run to the first corner, so you want to begin well, you want to make the best of your barrier if you have drawn down low, and then you've obviously got to switch your horse off, so it's a really fine line between getting your horse out of the barriers quickly and then getting it into a rhythm. So that's why we've got the best of the best out here, and where everyone's really trained their horses to relax and to get into a rhythm, so it's just who can sort of navigate that in the finest fashion, and then the filly that's able to carry it out, and then they've got to be able to stay the distance. So I think that's what makes it just such a great, unique race with these younger 3-year-old fillies.
With all those things in mind, what are your selections? I want the 1, 2, 3 from you, please.
Okay, well, I'm with Too Darn Discreet because it's my neighbours, also with Dan O'Sullivan training, but she's got great form line. She just steps up to the mark every time. She's done a little bit wrong in the lead up, so she needs to correct that today, but she's drawn a great barrier, and I think she'll just put herself on speed and be really hard to run down. I'm also with Gay Waterhouse and Harlem Queen. I think they're just going to be in the right spot from the good barriers. Gaze will race on speed. She was terrific here on Saturday, which obviously the Wakefields were really terrific lead up, and Gaze horses are just hard tough.
Horses are in the yard. We better go back to you, Brace, while we reposition.
Thank you, Francesca and Michelle. Great to get your insights from the mounting yard there. Grace Remage, David Gately with me. Just moments away from the Crown Oaks, the feature here, the Group 1 $1 million event, finally getting underway here on the third day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival. As we have a look at the field, I note with interest, the two of you, very similar trifecta there.
It looks a race, Gator, where there are three key winning chances that look on paper to potentially be a class above. But as we've just heard from Michelle and Jessica, you have to be able to stay, and that's always going to be significant in finding a winner.
Yeah, that's right. It's a race that's run true to form a lot, hasn't it? And Francesca and Michelle referenced that throughout its history. And although they're getting out to 2,500 for the first time, it's a race where the form holds true as a rule.
Mounting yard time as we have a look at our runners for the feature here. Treasure the moment. The Wakefield Stakes win on Derby Day, of course, catches the eye.
Well, we firstly know how good the Wakefield is as a key form reference to finding the winner of the Crown Oaks. Look, I was actually against her last Saturday, but I'm very much in her corner here. She just won too well. She was so dominant. I love the way that she was able to lengthen her stride. I think she'll get the trip. Jessica, how does she look in the yard on the quick back up?
Well, I think actually the race on Saturday didn't take that much out of her because she was able to be so dominant that day. She's clearly quite a relaxed-natured filly. She looks like she's handled the prelims really well. I think she's going to improve, though, as she gets older in terms of filling out her frame. Now let's have a look at number 2 as well, who's just behind. This is Too Darn Discreet. We didn't see her in the Wakefield. Connections electing to leave her at home and bring her out for this final today. Now, she's been better on softer tracks traditionally, so she's seeing this for the first time, but Connections have said they're not too worried about that. I've heard she's got a little bit of a quirk in her at home, but she's really nice and relaxed here today. She's got a good bit of ability.
Your favourite here, Gator, Harlem Queen, and won't be daunted on this big stage.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. She covered ground last time against the pattern of the day. Still closed off against the males. She looks an athletic type, Michelle.
Absolutely does. She blows me away here in the mounting yard. Obviously, the first time we've seen her down in Melbourne. She just is a beautiful filly. Got a lovely loping walk on her, as you can see here, and really healthy, and you actually can't fault her. She looks outstanding.
Thank you, Michelle. The 4 is Rag Queen, sent down Grace from Sydney for this one.
Well, this is another one of the fillies coming through, the spring champion against the boys last time. Harlem Queen was definitely a better run and a better performance leading into a Crown Oaks, but this filly's by D'Argento, so I think she'll stay, and David Payne knows what he's doing with staying youngsters.
Francesca, Powers of Opal, second to Treasure the Moment in the Wakefield.
Yeah, second to Treasure the Moment. So how do they turn that around? Well, I like what the Sargent team are doing here. They've got 2 in the race. They're going to send Inevitable Truth forward, which is going to make this more of a test of stamina. So will this one be able to use her potentially superior stamina to close the gap with the rival?
Pleasure Artist here, number 6. She is a tiny filly, but she's really long. She's got a really good overstep and a great walk on her. So she's obviously a staying filly. She's got a great little turn of foot on her, and she presents here really healthy and well.
The 7, Talisay, 6th in the Wakefield on Saturday. Gator.
Look, she went back. She held her ground. It was on pace dominated. She's got a lot of ground to make up on the Quinella here.
The 8 is Feminile at third of the 2,000 metres at Caulfield last month. What are you seeing in the yard, Jessica?
I am seeing a filly who's a little bit on her toes here. She's got those OTI-themed blinkers on here. I think, look, on form, she's going to have to find a little bit extra. In terms of pedigree, she's by Dundee, so that might be in her corner. Look, she's a perfectly nice individual, but she wouldn't be probably my top pick here.
Killcare Beach Girl is the next. Michelle, placed in the Wakefield.
She was fantastic, I thought, in the Wakefield, and she looks like she's going to back up here in terrific order. She's got a real pep in her step. She wears a crossover noseband and the ear mask, but she's just looking outstanding, really healthy in the coat, and she's one of my top picks here.
It's also just noting with this filly, she led on Saturday in that Wakefield, and it was a very hard day to lead into the breeze there. No leaders were able to stick on, so a lot of merit to that performance.
All right, Gator, the next, the 10, Noises, ran out of gas in the Spring Champions.
Yeah, she didn't finish that one off. You'd have to say Harlem Queen was significantly better than her. 2,500, it has to be a question mark.
Jessica, interested about this one. Hurry Curry, late scratching at the gates after rearing into Jamie Carr's nose on Saturday.
Yeah, that wasn't ideal, was it, James? So she wasn't able to take her place there. How has that interfered with the intended preparation? Well, it's probably not ideal, and we also need to make sure, well, we need to see that she's going to behave at the barriers this time around. Jo Moreira takes the ride. She's already a winner at Flemington, and she was fifth in that ethereal behind Two Down the Street.
Grace, Inevitable Truth, chasing the maiden win, but has some solid lead up for her.
Yeah, she hasn't yet won a race, but I love the intent here from the stable. Cheska's already referred to it. They've got two in the race here. From barrier one, expect to see Inevitable Truth more forward in the run. She's drawn wide barriers. They've gone back, but now that she's drawn low, they're going to try and use it and expect her to be right up there on the speed, which will give her a really good winning chance. It certainly brings her back into contention.
Placid Pearl Gator stepping up in distance, and it seems to be suiting so far this campaign.
It's really a positive sign when a young athlete like her steps up in trip pretty sharply and performs the way she did at Scone. Look, it was only a Class 1 at Scone, so it's a long way to Flemington, but she has all the upside.
And Grace, the final run here for the Crown Oaks, the Group 1, all kinds of folk. Found it tough in the Wakeful.
She did, but clearly the connections think that she's going to be at her best getting out in distance, but it is hard to see how she'll be able to turn the tables on some that beat her home last start.
Francesca, you're picking the yard for the big one here on Crown Oaks Day.
Well, I'm going to go to Michelle first, because now that you've seen them, are you sticking with your selection number 2, or are you changing?
I'm actually going to change to number 9, Kilcare Beach Girl, and she just looks fantastic. So, Gay Waterhouse, hope she can bring it home.
And I'm going to stick with number 1, Treasure in the Moment.
Francesca, Michelle, thank you. Be something too. Singo here as well. Get near a bar if you're at Flemington. And it salutes Kilcare Beach Girl. Jared, our tab market update, please.
Yeah, there's been a nibble for it as well. We'll get to that. Treasure the Moment, looking to make it 4 straight wins for favourites in the Oaks. Is the best back runner comfortably with tab customers. Open $4 as short as $3.10, now $3.30. Powers of Opal has been rock solid in the betting at $3.70 to turn the tables.
The Eliminator, Gator Grace, it's got it down to 3.
Well, Two Down Discreet, I think Two Down Discreet has got to come back in. I mean, what's she done wrong? Everything she's done this preparation, and she's been quite raw. There's probably still more improvement to come. She's got to come back in, Gator. What do you feel about just having the 4 key winning chances in the Oaks?
Yeah, look, I think Rag Queen's a pretty good roughie, and she's not out of this. I'm happy that she paraded quite well as well. So we'll throw her in for some trifectas.
All right, the Group 1, Crown Oaks Stakes. Crown Oaks it is next. And there's a great vibe here, I've got to say. When you know when the chopper's up and all of a sudden everyone's standing around you and you realise, oh, wait, there's a Group 1 on hand. And as you can see, we are ready to go. The Crown Oaks just moments away. The horse is taken to the track and you're about to see it live from Flemington in moments. Great to have you with us, and it is that time of Crown Oaks Day. The feature over 2,500 metres, just moments away. It is the Crown Oaks, the one and only Group 1 today, and all is in readiness. We're just moments away from seeing it all unfold. The horses behind the barriers as we speak, as we take a look at just how this all begins. Once again, like we saw, Michelle, the jockeys and the horses start in front of the crowd here.
It's a really unique start because you have these horses who are young, they're 3-year-olds, and they're about to go into a staying race, so they really need to learn how to get into the rhythm, and then you want to hold your position, so it's that really fine line and great technique from these riders to get your horse into a good position, but also keep them really relaxed and switched off, and then give them every chance to the finish in this staying race.
All right, there's a look at what the pace might be like here for the main event as we headed over to Billy behind the barriers with the jockeys.
Yeah, just looking at the jockeys as we speak. We've got Damien Lane, he's full of focus. James McDonald's, he's having a mouthful of water. He had a big smile on his face a second ago. He loves these Group 1s. Straight through the barriers here. It's only about a 200-metre straight until you hit that first turn. And this is the equivalent of the Derby, but for the 3-year-old fillies. These are the princesses of the turf. And we saw in the Derby that the favourite was Drew Wide, and that was the Achilles heel. And the favourites also Drew Wide here. That's Treasure the Moment, Damien Lane. And he's got the task in front of him to get his mount across to the fence and get it an economical run.
Luckily, all the fillies are looking a little bit more lively than your horse, Billy. There, Sam looks a little bit tired. But what do we think about Hurry Curry? Got the barrier blanket on there. Is she behaving herself so far?
Yeah, she looks okay at the moment. That's the one that reared up on Jamie Carr on Saturday. Who knows? That could be a blessing in disguise. She could be nice and sharp out of the gates here. She's got to get in first, but you can see the barrier blanket aboard Hurry Curry. Hopefully she goes in well.
Let's get our tap marker mover. Thanks so much, Billy. As always, behind the barriers. What do you got, Jared?
The Clear Money horse, Treasure the Moment, opening $4, $3.30, and expected to start shorter based on the late bets.
It really does, Grace, add so much, doesn't it, having to start in front of the crowd here, especially when it's the big one of the day.
Yeah, I've just been watching this shot, and it does not get any better with that beautiful, relatively new club stand in the background, the crowd, the horses. It is just spectacular. Fabulous Flemington at its finest, and they're about to load away. I'm watching, in terms of the pin, what happens with Treasure the Moment, the favourite, because she's got to overcome a wide draw here. We need Damien Lane tactically to get it right to be able to stay at the 2,500 metres.
Well, there's the tips on screen from our panellists here. Two darn discreets from the Melbourne Cup winner Michelle Payne, Francesca and Grace with Treasure the Moment, Harlem Queen for David Gale.
And look at that, lots of numbers 1 and 2 there, because 20 of the last 30 winners have either been numbers 1 or 2, so it kind of ranks the horses and puts the best ones towards the top. Often the favourite is there or thereabouts. We've had the odd blowout, but the market tends to get it normally pretty bang on there.
Let's head back to Billy.
Joe Moreira's just dismounted Hurry Curry. Hurry Curry's going into the gates now. She goes in nicely, which is great, and Joe Moreira will jump back aboard.
Probably not a bad idea, obviously, considering what happened on Saturday. Scratched at the gates, but back here for the Crown Oaks Group 1 as we head it over to Matt Hill.
166th running of one of Australia's oldest classics, the Crown Oaks. Placid Pearl will complete the line with Ben Mellon to take the outside. And the fillies are just about ready. Placid Pearl is in, sets. And they're racing. Hurry Curry from the centre gate away only fairly. Killcare Beach Girl jumped very, very quickly with Inevitable Truth with that tactics change is booting up on the inside, and pushing up to third is Noises, 2 down, Discreet fourth the rails from Rag Queen. Treasure the Moment's 3 wide on that opening corner. They were followed by Harlem Queen and Hurry Curry, as in front of those Treasure the Moment's now 1 off the fence, the favourite. 2/3 down the field, Powers of Opal is 3 wide around Pleasure Artist and Feminile, and then Say All Kinds of Folk, and Placid Pearl is last as they head to the riverside. 2,000 metres to go. Killcare Beach Girl by 2 lengths, Inevitable Truth. Noises third outside of 2 down, Discreet, and they're 2 lengths Treasure the Moment. 5th the outside of Rag Queen. 2 lengths away to Hurry Curry, and then came along the inside Harlem Queen. Powers of Opal still 3 wide at the 1,700 metres. Between fillies is Pleasure Artist, and then Feminile the inner. 1.5 lengths All Kinds of Folk, and then Say the rails, and 2.5 to Placid Pearl. Killcare Beach Girl in a rhythm at an even speed at best, heads towards the 1,400 metres, controlling this under Clark by 1.5 lengths. Inevitable Truth, and then 2 down, Discreet and Noises. 2 further back in the field, Treasure the Moment outside of Rag Queen. 1.25 lengths, Hurry Curry. Then came along the inside at Chiquita Lodge, Harlem Queen. 1 length away in the field, Powers of Opal, Feminile, and then came Pleasure Artist, Say All Kinds of Folk, and at the end of the field is Placid Pearl. So Killcare Beach Girl is the leader by 1 length, Inevitable Truth, and they're 2 lengths to Noises, and also 2 down, Discreet. Treasure the Moment, every possible chance by the 1,000 metres. Next is Rag Queen, and on her outside is Hurry Curry. 1.5 lengths away in the field, Harlem Queen, Powers of Opal. Then came Pleasure Artist outside of Feminile from Say, who's third last. Well back in the field, All Kinds of Folk, and Placid Pearl brought up the rear as Killcare Beach Girl is steadily sealing up the pressure from Inevitable Truth. And then came the outside Noises, about 1.5 lengths off the lead as they come around the turn. Inevitable Truth has struck the front early in the straight and went for the doctor of the 450. Inevitable Truth 2 or 3 lengths in front of 2 down, Discreet. Treasure the Moment. Lane hasn't pushed the button yet, and behind those horses Hurry Curry, and on the inside 2 down, Discreet wax on. Inevitable Truth at the 200. Treasure the Moment lets down now, cuts the ribbons. Powers of Opal is running on. Treasure the Moment, 100 metres to go, 1 length and 3/4. Powers of Opal won't get there. Treasure the Moment, it's one to savour. Treasure the Moment won the Oaks. Powers of Opal second, and third was Hurry Curry, followed by Harlem Queen. Next two down, Discreet and Pleasure Artist. A gap, Placid Pearls run a race. Rag Queen, Talisay, Noises, Inevitable Truth, Feminile, all kinds of folk at a long last after leading Killcare Beach Girl.
Well, for the 39th time, we've seen the Wakeful Crown Oaks double treasure the moment in stunning fashion. Congratulations, Damien Lane, for one hell of a ride, Michelle.
If you had known that she was going to slot in 1 out, 1 back, 3 pairs back, and switch herself off like she did, it was all over because she is the class runner. The barrier was the question mark, but just absolutely superb from Damien Lane there. And what a lovely filly that she is, because she just helps herself, saved all her energy, and then she just got that class at the finish.
I'm such a huge fan of this filly. I mean, everything she does is so effortless. Look into the straight. Damien Lane had all of her left to give. Like, he hadn't asked her for anything yet. She just would push button, does anything he wants to do, and just so effortless. I think she's got so much upside. I'm very excited about her future.
Yeah, you can read a lot into the jockey position, can't you, in their body language, and he was the last one to really actually have to ask her a question. When he did, she responded really nicely. I thought Powers of Opal was potentially going to run her down, but she kept fighting.
Let's hand it over to Billy.
Frosty, we'll get to the ride in a minute, but she's a special filly.
Yeah, she's a beauty. Just kept improving this preparation. Matt said to me before I rode her last start, he thought she was a really good horse in the making, and she's proved him right. She's a bloody ripper.
We saw the favourite go down in the Derby from a wide draw. You drew 10, but you just posied it up perfectly, and you had a lap full of horse with 300 to go. What were you doing? What was going through your mind with 300 to go?
Well, barrier 12, I think. You might have sold me a little short there. But
sorry, mate.
I just whipped it into the 3-back 1-off position, as you do. No, but in seriousness, she jumps well, so it gives you a good option in the first part of the race. And I just got a nice bit of speed there I could tuck in, and just travelled perfect throughout the run.
Not the first time I got numbers wrong. Wakeful, the Oaks double. It's special. Were you confident enough for Saturday?
Yeah. It's a tried and tested method. I did the same double on Aristia a little time ago, and I was confident that was the right form. A couple other horses coming through different races, so you weren't sure. Obviously, the Spring Champion and the Ethereal. So, yeah, I was as confident as you could be going into a Group 1.
Oh, it's starting to rain. I'll let you get in there.
Thank you.
Go and enjoy it. Over to you, Tony.
Yeah, good on you, Billy. Thank you. Well, we'll be singing in the rain soon, won't we, Matt? Because this is one to celebrate.
I can't really put it into words. I'm shaking, but it was a painless watch, and it's a dream to win a Group 1 in this week.
Well, that alarm goes off at ungodly hours, and you got your team there, and when it pays off in spades like this, it's just a moment to treasure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's 20 years of work, really, trying to achieve something like this. I'm just so grateful to my team at home and to also Team Yulong. They've supported me, and this is a homebred, and to watch her progress to winning a Group 1 is incredible.
Well, I mean, based on her current form, you can throw anything at her, it seems.
Well, she's obviously very talented, but she just aids herself in the way that she just goes to sleep through the run. She conserves all her energy, and she lets down. It was very painless.
Yeah, so when does it sink in, do you reckon?
Well, as I said, I'm still shaking a little bit, but I'm going to enjoy it, and as I said, it's a dream.
And a swag of owners too.
Yeah, we'll celebrate long and hard. I can guarantee you that.
Well, you've earned it, mate. Well done. Congratulations. An Oaks winner. Well done.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Congratulations to Damien Lane and all the connections. They've enjoyed a big few days. Amazing is that the Wakeful form into the Oaks, considering we got the same 1-2 today from Saturday.
Just a carbon copy. I thought I was watching the replays, doing my replays of the Wakeful, the way she cruised into the race, exactly like the Wakeful, let down like a good filly that she is, and was strong all the way to the line. The runner-up's done a great job. She was wide early back in the field, over racing. She'll make a really nice girl as well into her next season, into a 4-year-old season.
Yeah, she sure will. I think both the winner and the second place getter, they've got a lot of upside. I mean, I think this will turn out to be a very strong edition of the Oaks, like it was with Zardozi last year. And Cheska, what about those colours? The Yulong team are having a spring to remember.
Yeah, they sure are. This one, I think, a homebred for the Yulong team. And the scary thing is, looking at her in the mounting yard, I think she's only going to get better because she's got a bit of furnishing still to do. She's going to fill out that frame, and when she does, look out.
You had zero concerns about the backup from what you saw in the yard, didn't you, pre-race?
Well, I mean, obviously the concern going into this race was the barrier, like Michelle highlighted, but we can try and go back and look at the start at some point, because the way Damien Lane was able just to navigate her into the perfect position from a tricky barrier, that was where the race was won.
Michelle, relief for the jockeys too that the rain starts right after the race, not before it.
That's exactly right. Their heart rate's up and they're nice and warm now, but they'll be getting back in out of the rain, and just terrific scenes there. What a beautiful filly she is, and like Francesca said, and Grace, she's just got the world ahead of her. She's still maturing and filling out. We might see a Zardozi on her hands, or even a little bit better.
There's different kinds of wins in there, Michelle. There's ones that are upsets and stories like we got in the Cup. These ones, there's a level of expectation with someone like we saw just there with Damien Lane to back up a win and come in as one as the fancies. What does it feel like for him right now?
I think it's just a bit of a relief, especially as we watch here from the barrier, 3 from the outside, in the green. He began well, as he said, but it just worked out beautifully for him. As you can see here, he hasn't had to spend a penny. He's just slotted over across. He would have had a little bit of a scary moment here for a second, but then he was able to just slot in one off and put her to sleep. So great start to the race, and here we see him now into the straight, and Francesca was just cantering. And
I think he had the perfect company, as in the filly was just so easy to put into the right place. She wasn't too keen, she wasn't too idle, she just took him into that perfect spot, as well as he navigated it himself, and then he was able to save ground, get a bit of cover, and just peel her out and deliver her when he wanted.
A great success story for Matt Laurie, who's got a relatively small team at Mornington. He's had a Group 1 winner before, but this will mean the absolute world to him and his team back in Mornington, so congratulations to all involved.
Group 1 performance to savour that in the Crown Oaks over 2,500 metres. Treasure the Moments wins ahead of Powers of Opal, Hurry Curry and Harlem Queen.